Hello all. Let's get started. Today I'm Manoj. I'm a senior manager in CVS Health. Today I'm going to speak about how data discovery in Google Cloud should be, and how we have used Google Cloud services to design a data discovery. And I'm going to demo use couple of services that we have worked on. So that is a demo today. So this is a common agenda. So I'll go through common pain points that data engineers and data scientists have today on working on data. Then whenever you're doing a data migration from on-prem or any different cloud to cloud service, what are the basic steps that you have to follow that will help data engineers and data scientists to identify data and work seamlessly. And there is a service called GCP Dataplex, how that will help in data discovery and everything, and how data discovery process is automated in GCP. I'll be showing a couple of demos there. And there is a concept called data loss prevention. So particularly on cloud platforms, will have sensitive data. People can decrypt the sensitive data and store it. How does a DLP, data loss prevention, help us to identify it? So I'll be demoing that, and I'll be showing you how federated data governance should work and how Dataplex will help us to achieve that. So couple of pain points that maximum of data analysts, data engineers, and data scientists in the industry go through. There is a survey that is carried out. 90% of the data engineers and data scientists work on searching for data, acquiring the data, and analyzing the data. They'll be 90% of the time they'll be finding where the data assets are, how to find an enterprise asset, single source of truth, and everything. So that's the reason enterprise data warehouse solution should have a data discovery strategy to deliver value and return of investments in data assets. We feel this is an important strategy any data cloud migration should be considering instead of just migrating data from on-prem to cloud. So what happens here is you should provide a capability for engineers to efficiently discover data. So for that, what we have to do is, in the industry, there are concepts called business metadata, technical metadata, and security metadata. So on any asset on enterprise data, a survey should be able to classify and categorize your data into business, technical, and security metadata. What is a business metadata is, it gives a business information. It gives a at column level and row level. That means what line of business the data is. Like example, is it a sales data, is it a marketing data, or is it a healthcare data or anything? And technical metadata, like what are the data types? If it is a BigQuery, if it is a Oracle table, what is the data type of it? All that comes there. Then security metadata is, in a table, is it a personally identifiable information such as email, phone number, social security, and everything? PHI, all these categories as security metadata. So decrypting this data or using raw form of PHI and PAI on the original data source can be a security breach. So we have to.
Where would you cover the rules for profiling data to result in this data?
Sorry, can you please repeat it?
Where, in what part of the process would you do the rules for establishing data profiling? What can be looked for? Who can look for it?
Correct.
things of that sort. Is that part of this
Yes.
process, or is that part of somewhere else?
No, that is part of this process that comes in managing your security metadata. So your profiling process, where who should see the data and everything.
Because, for example, lineage
Mhm.
has security issues involved.
Yes.
Potentially.
Yes.
Just as a very simple example.
Mhm. True. I'm going to cover in the demo, how do you configure that in Google Cloud, who should see the data and who should not. Yeah, I'll cover that in the demo. Yep. Yep. So data lineage, a lot of data engineers and data scientists uh, keep searching on data assets. Where is that data generated from? Which column? What is the derivation from? So data lineage is an important tool in modern days to have a more productive data science and data engineering effort. So having a perfect data lineage captured is very important on a data asset that will have a return on data asset teams. So I'll be showing a demo on data lineage too, how GCP helps you to capture this on your data warehouse like BigQuery and everything. So the common requirement of data discovery, we should be able to detect sensitive and personal information like health information, financial information. So there should be a facility in your metadata management tool where it can run, scan, or run sampling on some of the data assets and quickly identify health information, educational information, and send alerts to that where security breach can happen. Okay, and clearly classify and tag sensitive data. There should be a policies defined on what is a sensitive data, what is not, so that users can clearly identify the sensitive data. That is one more requirement there. So these are all modern day data discovery requirements that are in the industry. So GCP or AWS or any cloud platform has their own services to do. Particularly in GCP, the Dataplex is one service that helps you to automatically capture your metadata information, clearly define your policy tags, have a row level access control defined, everything. So this Dataplex is a service which is used for metadata management on GCP. It is it provides a unified metadata management using data catalog. Data discovery and exploration is very simple in Dataplex. And Dataplex uses Google's AI and ML capabilities to automatically capture metadata uh, on their GCP storage services like Google Storage, BigQuery, PubSub, etc. It provides automatical capture of data quality and data lineage. It has supports to integrate with Cloud DLP, data loss prevention service in GCP, which integrates natively with data catalog. We are going to see some demo on that. It has a support to a lot of open source tools and services, so that you can have a metadata captured from on-prem data warehousing systems like Hive, MySQL, and everything. So your lifecycle management, your data organization can be effectively managed using Dataplex. So on your right, you have a Dataplex architecture, how it will be sitting on top of all these data warehouses, data lakes, and data marts. Um, on your left, you have legacy systems, how people will be using databases, data marts, and everything. So Dataplex is a unified solution to manage all your data in different places, data warehouses, data lakes, and data marts. So that is one advantage you get using Dataplex. So what is the use of Dataplex? So Dataplex has a subservice called data catalog. What does that do? It will help you discover, organize, and enrich your data. It can be on any of the storages like BigQuery, PubSub, cloud storage, or any other non-GCP assets like Oracle, Hive, SQL Server, or anything. It can have a metadata management on structured data, semi-structured data, or any streaming data. So it automatically captures the metadata. You need not establish a separate loading process of metadata separately. You have to establish only ingestion onto these storages like BigQuery, but data catalog captures them automatically. So that is the advantage you have using Dataplex. So how Dataplex is recommended to users in a big enterprises like CVS or any big enterprises, there will be many GCP projects which are represented as dependent projects here. We recommended to have one main project or data stage project where you have metadata pulled from all this. So users will be querying or referring to metadata from this main project where you have business glossaries, tag templates maintained and everything. So it will provide a unified view of all these sub projects instead of going and checking in each sub project for each metadata. For suppose if you have a sales project, you have marketing project, you have healthcare project, you can maintain, you can enable them to have unified view created in your main project for them to see. I'm going to demo you how this can be done easily. So I wanted to demo you a GCP catalog. I'm going to demo you how look and feel of Dataplex will be. I'm going to show you an example how technical metadata, business metadata, and security metadata can be captured.
Previous slide, I think different projects have system of records, but metadata is in source.
Yes.
That's the
Yes, that's the source. So you for all your users in your organization, you point to your main project so that they can have a source there, and your lineage is automatically captured onto this main project. For demo, this is a UI of Dataplex. This discovery is called data catalog. So you have, if you see here, you have different storage systems like BigQuery, Cloud SQL. All these are Google services, and you have other here, which includes when you integrate with Hive or MySQL or anything, it comes here. So that is how it is. So I have one demo example. I'll show you here. Before that, let me go here. So it easily captures what data types it is. As I told you here in the previous slide, the dependent projects, if you see, these are all the dependent projects I have. You can go there and you can easily click on which, if you have a marketing project, you can click on that and see the metadata of that particular project on data sets in that particular project, all that. So let me show you one simple example. So this is a vaccination status is a public data set in GCP. So I have a metadata captured here. So what does it provide? It provides which is a source in it. Okay, I have a data governance tag defined here. Okay, who is a data owner of it? Whether it has a Medicaid data true. On a table level, it has some information. It has PHI, false PHI is personal identifiable data. PII is personal identifiable data. PHI is healthcare data. Does it have any encrypted data? This is true at a table level. This is all business metadata here. The security metadata which I was showing is this tab, whether it has a PHI, PII and everything. when it comes to column level, this is a field. What is the data type? It is string data type. So this is a technical metadata, and mode it if it is a nullable or not. This is common across any data store, but the security metadata enables you one level forward for users. If a user is seeing this table, he clearly knows this is a okay, it has a PHI data, it has a PI data. Is the data on this table encrypted or not? He clearly knows here. And in each field, he also knows what type of field it is, the description and everything. So if you see a simple example, this has a SSN, social security number, and it is tagged as data governance field. So for example, if you feel this has a PHI data, I can quickly check, add a data governance tab here. So who is a data owner? We can tag each field to Medicaid. Is it PHI true? Is it PI false? Is it encrypted true? And save it. So you can see the tag is added on the field. So this is a facility you get on Dataplex. So now what we do is we generally define tag templates. So this is a data governance tag template which has data owner, is encrypted, Medicaid, and everything. You can clearly search on all these projects which I was showing you with a single click how many tables have this template enabled. Search for entries that using this template. It clearly shows you how many tables. So I, for a demo purpose, I have only one table here, but you, by one click, you get all the tables that have this governance template enabled. So this is very important feature for all the users, data scientists and data analysts. They can have one click view on security metadata enabled. So you can have not using, so you get a lot of tables here. So you can do both things with one click. So that is a good thing with Dataplex. I feel lineage, automated lineage capture is an important feature for Dataplex. And whenever there is a consumable viewable table, every data engineer has to know where it is sourced from, what are the transformations that happen intermediately for generating that view, and how many times the data load happens on this. All that information is called data lineage in the industry. Giving a one point source for all these users will save a lot of time. So industries or companies has to consider data lineage as a important feature while enabling data discovery. So in GCP, Dataplex.
A question on ingestion.
Yes.
Okay. Does that allow you to trace the exact source, the source table, even from an external external
Source.
database?
Yes. So particularly currently GCP supports Hive, MySQL, and everything. So it helps you to find the source of that also. Suppose if you are migrating, if you have created a consumable view in BigQuery from Hive data in on-prem, it helps you to establish a lineage from there. Let me show you a simple example on data lineage here.
When you ingest these, you have to pick what is a correlation ID, right? I mean, something
Correct.
you need to define. Right?
Yes.
Out of the box.
Let me show you that. I've handpicked few tables that this is one consumable metrics table. This is taken from public data sets. If you see this, Adobe Metrics, this is a consumable data set which it has. Okay, it has all these columns, these 4 columns, and it has an intermediate table that it is derived from. This is that table. It has some 10 columns. Okay, if you click on this, it shows you what are the selection criteria, what is the filter criteria, what is the SQL it is generated from. It shows you how many times this has run, how many times the consumable table will load, how many runs it happens, and all the details, when did it load and everything. If there are, suppose if it is happening from um, different process like data proc, what is a job type and everything, it provides you all the details here. And if you see this intermediate table has been created from 4 or 5 source tables. So it provides you the details of that also, what is a complex SQL query or filter query that has created this intermediate table, and all these runs, all that. And if you see, this is a source table. Here in the example, I'm showing BigQuery to BigQuery, but it supports SQL. So all these are your ingestion tables where your derived table have come from. So for a data engineer, suppose for a data engineer who is working on the end consumable table, this flow is very important. This will save him a lot of time. Where is this coming from? What is the SQL query it has used and everything. So, and it clearly shows you the owner label and everything. So I feel data lineage is a very helpful feature for data engineers and data analysts to understand what is the source, what is the intermediate transformation it is happening and everything. So this entire, this structure is not, Dataplex automatically captures it. If this transformation, if this logic, if this data is being there in these 3 different projects, it captures it clearly. Okay, the data from one project, sales project and marketing project, they have joined both and they have generated intermediate table. It captures that automatically and prepares a lineage on it. Currently, for any table that gets generated, I guess it is data catalog or Dataplex takes 15 minutes to populate this lineage automatically. So that is the advantage here. I guess Google is working to reduce that time and increase the sources. Currently, I guess only high MySQL, GCS are supported, or PubSub is supported. They're trying to add a couple more sources in the ingestion side. So this is about data lineage.
I think the metadata definition is quite important, right?
Correct.
To get the meanings. For example, in your example, you told sales marketing. So if I actually change the data, so I might as well modify the metadata for you when you want to see the data together, or what transformation has gone through in the sales.
Correct.
Right. So I think
that is more important. So
because Dataplex would not know that, right?
No, no, it knows here. See, if you click this processes here, it knows what has been changed, what is the filter criteria that you have selected, and everything. So if you're doing it on a GCP resources, suppose if you change your metadata, today you have version 1, tomorrow you have version 2, you have added 10 more fields, it automatically captures it. It is very important for a data engineer to know that change immediately after the change happens. So that is one advantage you get by using Dataplex.
If you're using like a more complicated orchestration like Composer, and you're just gonna like move files around and then manipulate them on a Dataplex task,
correct,
will that register in here?
Yes. So at the end, Composer is just an orchestration. Yeah. You are doing transformations on a BigQuery, or you are doing transformation using a data proc, or you are doing if you are using streaming like PubSub. Yeah. At the end, you are pulling or pushing data to those sources. So all those sources are integrated here. So it captures. See, this big data, this BigQuery logic would have been run on a data proc. Okay, it captures it automatically. At the end, what happens is if you're running on a composer, it submits the job ID. So it is capturing the job ID that is run on a composer and getting the logic from there.
But when you actually ingest the data, the same example composer, you have to cascade job ID, for example, for different stages. You still have to put it because Dataplex will not automatically pick it. It has to know that the job ID will track.
No, see, that is see, we have explored many different tools like Alation and everything. For Alation and all that, you have to upload the job IDs and everything. But with the Dataplex, because it is happening in Google Cloud, it is capturing all that metadata information automatically. That is the difference between using an external tool like Alation or Colibra or anything.
That's why the metadata definition becomes important.
Yes. So using Dataplex, it captures automatically. That is the advantage of using Dataplex you get. Even people who are using Alation and everything instead of like Colibra, for example. Colibra, what happens is instead of pulling it from BigQuery or pulling it from PubSub or users uploading job IDs manually, Colibra directly plugs in with Dataplex and pulls it and automatically captures that.
They use that orchestration.
Yes, they use that orchestration. I've completed this. This is an important feature, data loss prevention. So what is the features of this is it automatically detects the sensitive information. Suppose a user has accidentally saved a decrypted data on a table in a warehouse. Okay, you run data loss prevention on tables or sampling tables. It tries to capture it, and it is more important for a platform to build a safe and secure data warehouses or data lakes where you don't have data leakages on particularly on PHI, PI data. So this tool, data loss prevention, helps you that to identify sensitive data if it is accidentally unencrypted or decryptedly saved there. And next thing is it automatically tags on to a data catalog or Dataplex, okay, saying that it is a PHI information. Google has a very big, rich sources like SSN, and they have Indian Aadhaar cards and everything. It can easily detect it and tag it. I'm going to show you that demo here. So I'm going to cover a part of it. How does data loss prevention work? How easy it is to tag and run a scan on it, on a BigQuery table. So I'm going to show that in a demo here. But I'm
prior to ingestion.
Yes.
For you to basically do that, right? It's really important. One is
no the
you can still define rules not to basically.
Yeah, what happens is the biggest problem in the industry that we see is while ingestion you have everything rules defined. After ingestion, during your transformation layer, during your consumption layer, people tend to do some mistakes, or people accidentally try to save decrypted data and everything, and that is very important on the platform to detect it and tag it properly. So that is where DLP plays an important role. Ingestion is a one-time process where we define rules and ingest the data, but 90% of the time these mistakes happen at the consumption layer or a transformation layer, that is after ingestion, and DLP helps you to scan those processes and tag this sensitive information. If you see this table, okay, let me go here. If you, this is a BigQuery console. If you see this table, I have a name, number, and detail. Nowhere I have tagged it as a social security number or anything, or date of birth or anything. So now if you see, I've defined it as a name, number, and detail, but I've saved some social security numbers and phone numbers here. So it is very important on a platform to detect these type of things. So what I've done is I've used this as example. I've run a DLP on this and see how does DLP help you to identify this as a social sensitive information and everything. So this is a DLP console which I'm showing you. I have one job created. So let me edit this job and show you what details it captures. So I'm just giving a project ID and I'm just giving you a table on which it has to scan. So you can have a scan set up on entire data set at the project level, or give it at a table level. You can scan it at a table level too. So, and these data scans can be very costly. So instead of scanning an entire data set, you can define a sampling rate. So just scan only 1,000 records or 100 records for a big data sets and anything. You can define your sampling rate. You can define your sampling date, and you can define your number of runs, how many times it has to detect. So if you see here, I've selected detect a phone number and US social security number. But if you see how many types of sensitive data that Google support, it supports more than 150. If you see, it has Argentina DNA number, Australian driving license number, Medicaid number. So it covers a lot of the type. Particularly in US, it covers many things like routing numbers, DEA number, driving license numbers, healthcare, NPI, all that. So for demo purpose, I've just selected two of this, social security number and phone number. So it can clearly give you the threshold also, like what is a possibility of that being a social security or a phone number. It is likely, very likely. All this DLP runs a machine learning model on a backend. So that this helps you to define that role. So for an end user, it is very easy to just plug in, configure, and run on the data set instead of worrying about the ML that runs on the backend. So what I've done is I've just selected possible, and I have given, I'm storing this as an end result on a BigQuery. Generally, there are many things. You can publish it to PubSub. You can publish it to a Dataplex. This is what I was talking in the screen here. Your DLP can integrate with all this and save them, tag. Okay, if it has found a social security number, it can tag it with the tag template as, okay, this is a social security number that is identified. For now, in the demo purpose, I'm saving the output to the BigQuery. So this is a sample I've created. I've already run a couple of jobs here, but so you can just run it now for now, but it will. So this job is running. So I can show you the output of the existing job. So this is running. If you see here on my data set, it has processed the entire data. It has found 21 findings, and total, it has scanned entire data set here, which has 15 rows. It has scanned entire data set, and it has found 21 findings. Out of them, 12 are phone numbers and 9 are social security numbers. So what is the rate, percentage rate, and everything, all that it has found. Even the job that I have run currently, it is complete because it is just 15 records. It has completed very fast, but generally DLP scans are runs for longer time and it costs you so much. That's the reason you have to have sampling enabled on them. That is what the recommendation is. So it clearly shows you, if you see the profile here, it clearly shows you how much is what are the sensitive things. So it provides you a clear view on what is the sensitivity happening, how users are using your data. If there are any data leakages happening, it will clearly help you. So this is an important tool that helps you. If you see here, I've set a profile on a complete project. If you see this has this has processed around 217K rows on a complete project level. So this is an important feature that helps you, particularly in a healthcare industry and banking industry, where end users deal with sensitive data all the time. This DLP helps you to configure it. And so the entire goal of it is Dataplex is providing you a single point of source to track entire all these features. So this is very helpful feature that integrates with Dataplex. I want to talk to you about data mesh architecture, which has been a buzzword around data or metadata management these days. So particularly big organizations who are dealing with different LOB or different departments or organizations of data, uh, metadata warehouse management of terabytes of data has been more complex. How do you define domains of data or zones of data uh, and get a unified view of it? So you need not get all the data into a single data warehouse and define your metadata management there. You can still be distributed, and you can have a hub and spoke model to maintain your metadata at one place, and having your data literally stored in diversified different data sources. So this data mesh architecture has been very helpful for bigger organizations to manage their data. And Google particularly have this Dataplex integrated with all these metadata uh, data mesh architectures. Particularly data marketplace like app stores and everything, data marketplace has been a buzzword around big organizations. So you go to a data marketplace to find your data. So building a effective data mesh and data marketplace using Google Cloud is easy to achieve from Dataplex by all the features. So once you have a data marketplace established, once you have a hub and spoke model established on your main project, so your data marketplace pointing to your main project will help you easily navigate through different kinds of data that are actually stored in all these different projects. So that is what is data mesh architecture. I can show you a sample demo on how this data mesh architecture is uh, established in Dataplex, how effectively you can save it. Let me go back to my Google console. Sorry, it is taking time. Perfect. So I have a sales information. So in an industry, I've taken a simple example of sales information and transaction information. So there is a concept called data lake, where the ingestion happens onto the data lake, and from there data warehouses get built. So you can build a data lake for each of your LOB or organization, like sales organization, transaction organization, or marketing organization. And you can bring all your data, all your data attributes there or data assets there. So what I've done is, in a sales organization, I've created one raw zone and one curated zone. If you see here, raw zone and curated zone. In raw zone, I have different data assets clearly categorized. In a curated zone, I have assets that you can clearly have assets defined that if you have 10 tables, if 4 tables are in sales, if you have 4 tables that are belonging to raw zone, you can directly tag them here in the staging layer, and you can tag them in the consumption layer. What you can do is, for your question you have asked, I have to give only a set of 5 users a consumption zone consumption view option, where it on the where you have tagged 10 tables as consumption zone. You can select this and give permissions here only for consumption zone. If your pipelines are running staging and creating consumption layer, you can give only the service accounts that are running your pipelines and creating consumptions. You can give permissions to only those to the raw zone. You need not expose raw zone to the users. So it is very easy for you to manage the permission. Instead of going and giving permissions to each and every table, you can manage your zones here and give permissions one time. So that is how your data mesh architecture can be effectively implemented. See, all these things can be still, the storage is still in different projects, but in your hub model, in your master project, you can maintain your uh, zones and everything, and still point to the data that is lying in different diversified projects. That is a help of Dataplex. You can build a hub and spoke model and build a data mesh architecture on different data assets that are lying in different data projects in the organization, and you can have a centralized place which is maintained in Dataplex.
What the advantage is, I don't have to make redundant copies of data
Correct.
across.
Correct.
Rather than, I can define this, and then I can still point to the actual data.
Yes.
So your system of records is not.
Your system of, you need not duplicate your system of record. You need not maintain your rules and permissions in every project. You can have a centralized place to define your permission set, and you can give a one view for users. Okay, what is a raw data set? What is a
So when you define the consumption zone, right, is it really pulling that subset of data?
No. The consumption zone. Okay, I don't have a tables here, but let me show you the raw table. If you see it just adds asset here. Let me add one asset. So I want to add asset, which is a BigQuery data set. Okay. And I have to give a demo, display name demo. And if you see here, it can point to any different project. Okay, your data is still residing in that projects, but you're just creating your view here. So that is how this is very useful. So particularly while migrating from on-prem to cloud and everything, instead of migrating everything and figuring out where the data is, I feel your cloud migration strategy should have a data discovery strategy established, so that your users can benefit where the data is, how your consumption layers are built, and all that. You cannot you cannot migrate entire data and then figure out what your strategy should be. By the time, people tend to create many duplicate views and everything. So you have to build your data discovery strategy along with your data migration strategy.
Here, I think the data discovery is really backed up by the network as well.
True.
Because it's different projects. We need to basically make sure that there is a good handshake of network.
Correct. No, here see if no, okay. The biggest advantage with GCP is all the data storage layer, like BigQuery, PubSub, and everything, they are not VPC connected. They are completely hosted. Yeah, they are completely hosted in GCP's network. There are self-managed. So Dataplex, you just have to maintain it with the IAM permission. You have to give a IAM permission of your master data service account to read from this chain. There is no networking, real networking solution you have to. Yes, yes, yes.
And Manoj, this data lake is more like a view that they're creating across different
Correct,
products.
correct.
Say like if I have a financial data lake,
Mhm.
you can point to data whichever it is in GCS or picture.
Correct. So if you see here, I've created a sales lake. Okay, I can create a different lake called marketing. Okay, you can define a source. Okay, you can just create it. So this is a marketing that is getting created like sales, and at the end you can add a zone here again. Like in the marketing, if you have different organizations, you can create a zone, or you can see generally your all these are lakes in different organization, but each lake will have a different staging layers, like staging, consumption view, ingestion view, and everything. And you can bring in respective data sources like GCS buckets, PubSubs, and all that, and maintain the permissions at this level. At this level, you can give. Let me tell you here. See, I have a HCB here, healthcare business. I've selected it. I can give permission for all this from this. So that way, the permission is implemented on all the data assets in that zone. You need not go to individual table and add permissions there. So that is the advantage of having a data mesh architecture that can propagate your permissions from zones to different data assets effectively, instead of going and dealing with permissions at each table level and entity level.
So how is the access provision? Say like I'm trying to access a data in a different team, different project. The project team has to approve my request, or there will be a.
So okay, that's a good question. So all this, see, entire Dataplex is defined on a concept called data steward. So the stewardness, okay, only your steward approve it, and you can define your steward for your zone, particular zone, and everything. So a steward to a zone can approve your access and provision your access. A steward can be a group or a service account or a entity in your organization. So, and it is not UI based, right? You can have, see, entire Dataplex is enabled through API. So your steward can still be outside of a GCP console and apply your permissions through a API call. So this almost
this model big time, because I don't have to put redundant copies.
true. That is the biggest advantage. See, in the purpose of going to cloud, people tend to create copies everywhere.
So my application runs, I want to know what actually is taking closer.
Yep.
Provide that latency.
Yes.
This will resolve it.
Is it kind of some policy creation at the organization level and then enforcing at the
Correct.
subsequent project level?
Correct. Yeah. So you will have a one master project only maintaining the metadata and permissions, and your data still lying in different organization projects. So that will help you to establish. See, it is the biggest thing in a big organizations to maintain this metadata and permissions, giving visibility to each data asset, all that. So this helps you to solve that problem.
But stewardship is also having, all the spokes will have stewardship, and the main one will have the references.
Yes, yes. So that's it from my demo today. I can take a couple more questions if you have any.
It also supports Azure.
It supports Azure, AWS, but this has been a pretty new product in GCP Dataplex. Previously, they had only data catalog. Now they have bought a bigger service called Dataplex. and they have included data catalog in it and gave all these features of data mesh, all that. It currently supports Hive, MySQL, Azure Data Store.
So even big lake, whatever additional data sources we have,
Yes,
we
you can add it, but there are only limited number of data sources that are currently supported. But GCP product has a bigger overview on this. They are enabling it for many data sources.
But I can query in the single project.
You can, so that you cannot query it here. So if you, so you have to see, this is your metadata management. You have to attach a notebook for this. Okay, so Dataplex is bringing that part. See, in the architecture. Okay, let me share my screen again. In this picture, if I show you, data marketplace is the UI for users. Okay, where they'll have their notebook environments and everything attached to it. But all this is tracked in Dataplex. The data plane, you call it as a data plane, like control plane. Now they build a data plane behind the pictures of data marketplace that will approve your things here. So at the end, your notebook environment and everything that connects to this will have that permissions established.
Oh, so from here, I should be able to query all the.
Correct. So a simple example is you have a service account. So your data steward has given access to the sales data for your service account. You have opened your notebook environment with your service account. When you are querying data, you have only access to sales service account. So whatever, either a notebook or a cloud console, or you are using a Simba ODBC driver to connect to your data through your service account, you tend to access only that data. So there are different data sources that people use to query the data, right? Cloud consoles, ODBC, JDBC drivers, Tableau, whatever it is. At the end, access is defined by a AD group or a service account. So that are Dataplex maintains that. Can I click close it? How do I do it? Leave break at home.